Now, if you talk to any serial killer, he'll tell you there's 1,000 different ways to skin a cat. Now, the question we should be asking, how many of those ways are the proper way to skin a cat? I'm not going to answer that question in this video, but today we are going to show you how to properly join two motorcycle wires that have been broken. Let's face it, with improper wiring, this motorcycle is just turned into a monstrous paperweight. So today we're going to be going over one of the most common yet crucial aspects of motorcycle restorations. That's fixing broken wires. I know, I've really sparked your interest here. If you're going to be fixing the broken wire with it still on the motorcycle, then you need to go ahead and disconnect the battery. We don't want any shocking surprises now, do we? First, we're going to start with one of the classics, soldering.
We're going to start off the same way any bad mag starts off, with a little bit of stripping. Once you get them stripped, twist the ends together so that it's pretty tight. Add your heat shrink at this point. Next we need to twist them together with this X pattern. This is what I use, and it works generally pretty well. Next, if you have any stray wires, flatten them down with a pair of needle nose pliers. We need it looking nice and clean. We don't want any holes in our shrink wrap. Next, man, that looks beautiful. It's like I'm Da Vinci or something. Once you have that, we're actually going to solder it at this time. This part is called tinning the solder. You put a little drop of solder on there, and then you add a little extra solder, and this helps it connect to the copper wire to transfer that heat better. It doesn't take it very long, and then you apply the solder to the copper wire. You do not apply it to the solder iron itself. Once it is completely cooled, as you can see, we have this nice connection right here. Bada boom, bada bing. Easy peasy. Slide your heat shrink over. I really like to use a lighter on this, or you can use a heat gun, just whatever you have handy. Some people put electric grease over the connection and then squeeze it out. And that does work well if you want some extra protection from water getting in there. But if you select the right size heat shrink, it should keep moisture out.
A solid cancer-causing connection that my ohm meter loves. On our lowest setting, we're getting a reading of 0.5 ohms, which means there's little to no resistance with this connection at all. The only downside to solders is on a motorcycle, especially a Harley, the vibrations can tend to cause the metal to loosen, which can increase resistance and can make the connection fail. Now, this is the most complex way here to fix a broken wire, so I would definitely practice this off the motorcycle prior to doing a fix on your motorcycle.
I personally only use leaded solder. It just works so much better than lead-free soldering. In that smoke, there's no lead. Lead doesn't vaporize until 750 degrees Fahrenheit, but there is some nasty chemicals of the resin, so you still don't want to breathe the smoke in, but you're not going to be breathing in lead. Getting lead on your hands is a very real danger though, so wear some gloves, wash your hands really good after.
Next up, we got old reliable, or least reliable, crimping. Pay attention, this is going to be electrifying. Hopefully. Crimping, believe it or not, is actually the gold standard whenever it comes to fixing broken electrical connections in vehicles. The reason? Vibrations tend to loosen solder. The main reason crimping gets a bad name is because it's done improperly. I would know. I'm that guy.
Now these needle nose pliers are specifically made for this purpose. As you see, they got a crimp up there at the top, and then they also have a place to strip the wires. The process starts out the same as soldering. Strip the wires, twist the ends, put your heat shrink over one of them, and then you apply the butt connector. Yes, that's what it's called. These ones, you strip the ends less than you do the solder because they only go about halfway into the butt connector. There's a little piece of metal on the inside that keeps it from going too far into the other side. I really prefer crimping with anything else but those cheap pliers that I showed earlier. This does a great job, and it won't cut the wires like the other pliers tend to do. Whenever you squeeze them too hard, just the geometry of the crimping action can cut some of the wires, which is not what you want to do. This, running that crimp down the middle, doesn't do that. Now all you got left is to apply your heat shrink and shrink it down. And again, this should have been on the wire before you join the two together, but mine just fell off.
Now onto our last method, heat shrink with solder inside of it. This is going to be by far the quickest method and my preferred method for on the side of the road repairs. Is it magic or a scam? I don't know. All I know is that there's a ring of solder inside this heat shrink, and that whenever you heat it up, the solder melts and the heat shrink wraps around the connection, making a waterproof connection. Now I've really only seen these the last 2 years or so the long-term reliability of this is still unknown. But I can say I have been using this myself in the last 2 years, and it has been a game changer. I've even used it on trailers, which is pretty hard on the wiring. It's held up fine.
Like with all of your other joining two wires method, you got to clean up the ends. If the ends are frayed, cut it off, start anew, and then you strip the ends of the wires. So you need to strip the ends of these wires pretty much the same as you do the solder, 3/4 of an inch, because you're going to twist these together the same way you soldered. Once you get those twisted together, there is two ends to this. The smaller end slides on first. If you do it the other way, sometimes the smaller end won't slide over the twisted wires. So again, we're just going to do the X pattern like we did when we soldered them together. You just want to twist them together tight. You just want the least amount of resistance as possible in the connection. You want to slide the solder ring over the copper wires like so. And now you just apply heat. Heat guns generally don't work very well for this. I like to use a soft flame lighter, so just when you get at the gas station, and I use the blue part of the flame, and I just continuously run it up and down. If you use the yellow part of the flame, it'll blacken it out just because of the carbon. But as you can see right there, the solder melted, and it filled up that gap inside that heat shrink tube. If you have any frayed wires, be sure to put them down so you don't poke a hole. There's a slow-mo shot of what it looks like whenever it melts the solder. And as you can see, it just fills in all the gaps in between the wire.
In conclusion, soldering is a good option when done properly. The motorcycles do tend to vibrate though, which can cause connections to loosen. Crimping gets a bad rep because it's commonly done improperly, but whenever done correctly, it is the gold standard. Last but not least, we have our heat shrink solder connections. Now this is some new age technology that the long-term reliability has yet to be proven, but I have used them successfully and they are the quickest and easiest option laid out on this table. This is Octane Restorations. Thanks for watching.